Right.
Minutes typically feel like about a minute. But the ones that drag in a hospital waiting room, those are long enough to reflect.
If you were to take a step back and observe us, you wouldn't know that anything's wrong.
A year and a half ago, Nate and Laura Yoho looked like a model couple in more ways than one. But personal trainers can tell you even their looks can be deceiving.
I found out that I have a tumor, so a brain tumor.
Yes, her.
It's very, very bad. It's very serious, I guess you could say. And there's only about a 5%, or I would say 2 to 5% that you're going to be okay.
1 year into a marriage, that's heavy, even for weightlifters.
You're in uncharted territory. You don't know what to feel.
Even her friends since elementary
We were in Mrs. Lyman's class, and that's when we became best friends.
couldn't believe this was happening. How could it to the girl who preached healthy living through college?
She would get up at 6 in the morning and work out, make a breakfast while I was still in bed.
Laura kept fighting.
If I'm ever having a bad day, if I just work out as hard as I can, then I'm good to go.
While Nate kept hoping.
I don't think I've ever been more nervous for anything in my life.
But within 9 months,
She knew that it was getting worse, and I could tell.
Laura's fight was over.
All of her family and everybody she was close to was there.
Even the best obituaries struggle to summarize a life.
I always joke and tell my husband that Laura was my soulmate. Sorry, Aaron, but just that one person that you had this unexplainable bond with, and best friend doesn't begin to describe what we had.
But Laura's also contained a surprise. She is survived, it read, by her husband Nate and her daughter Carolyn, due to be born through surrogacy.
She was such an amazing person that, I think a piece of her deserves to live on.
It was a plan they'd shared with only their closest friends.
She said, hopefully someday Nate and I will be able to have a child. And I said, well, if you ever have any trouble carrying a child, I've done it twice. I know I can do it again. I'd be more than happy to do it for you.
My hands are sweaty now just thinking about it.
The young couple had no idea that during Laura's last year, her best friend had already been setting the stage.
Said, I've been going to the doctor and preparing myself for the past year, knowing that I was going to carry this baby, and we were just like, wow.
I really meant that, and so we cried and hugged and decided right then, I'm like, I'm ready, and let's get this going.
Laura lived to see her baby's first black and white ultrasound, find out she was a girl, and know if the shower days before her death was any indication, her weightlifter was going to have plenty of spotters on this one.
And I hope she looks just like her and acts just like her, and I can tell her all about her mom.
She said, whatever happens, happens. A baby is a joy to all, no matter what. And I thought, you know what? And that's why I loved her so much. She knew exactly what to say. And I said, that's right. There's nothing bad that could come out of your baby being here.
Except nerves. 4 months and 2 days after Laura Yoho died,
Oh my gosh, yay!
her sister got a text from the delivery room down the hall.
Congratulations, Dad.
And couldn't wait to hug the new grandpa.
She looks good.
Oh. I can tell the look on Nate's face. Everything's okay. Oh. I just got a piece of Laura back just now. Oh, I got part of my daughter back right now. It's awesome.
Every grandpa believes their bundle's a miracle.
It's just...
Yeah.
Oh, Laura's back.
But after a year of tears that ripped his heart out, the one that landed in his arms delivered pure joy.
There she is.
Yeah.
And immediate comparisons
This is it.
to the mom she'll never meet.
This is crazy, you love something before it ever gets here, and then actually see her is pretty overwhelming.
Nate Yoho knows being a single dad will be life's hardest workout. But Carolyn Elizabeth,
She's going to know how hard her mother tried to be there for her and what kind of person that she was.
right down to the number of best friends she's had since 2nd grade. Step into Oak Ridge's daycare, and hugs are given freely. which is not how that teacher grew up.
You can't even imagine killing, war, fighting.
Somalia was too dangerous to even walk through,
You don't even go outside and see.
let alone raise her family, which is why Sadia Omer headed for the airport the first time.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome.
Back then, her husband had just died, and she was fleeing Somalia with her unborn child. But in doing so, she left behind 7 more.
That day, when I left Mogadishu, and they was crying, and they was all young, and I said, look, maybe I'm bad, mom. And he said, no, do never say that, mom. You are most wonderful and beautiful mom in the world.
When she left, Sadia's children were all under 15.
Now you're so close.
So close, yeah.
But after 8 long years, that last hour was the longest. Her thoughts bounced, how she'd settled in Des Moines and learned English, the fight she'd had to get them here, and the long hours she'd worked to support them back in Africa.
And sometimes we don't even have money. I pay my bills here, and I have to pay their bills too.
But this was the day she'd been waiting for.
They have to be here.
Her youngest was finally going to meet his siblings for the first time.
Because my family's gonna come.
I can't believe this is happening.
So happy for you.
Thank you.
If you hadn't touched your 7 babies in 8 long years,
My brain is like thinking, keep thinking. I want to cry.
you'd be a wreck too.
Even she told me I want to smell them, I want to hug them and smell them. I want to feel my kids again.
Once the screen set arrived, those seconds drug until she spotted them and collapsed to the airport floor, only to be picked up by her boy. The first of 7. Work in a daycare and you'll hold plenty of kids. But when they're finally yours,
It's so exciting. I cannot imagine it.
it doesn't matter what's said. As long as mom is here. When winters don't quit, the first hint of spring sends wheels spinning.
I mean, there's no place I'd rather be than out on a beautiful morning like this.
In Urbandale, the surest sign it's safe to emerge
Hey, Monty, how's it going? Pretty good, thank you.
is the guy everyone in town
Good morning. Good morning.
seems to know.
Because I'm so recognizable in my chair.
If the thermometer's above 60, you're almost guaranteed to run into,
The fun part.
hopefully not literally, Monty Halferty, who loves his city's trails.
Once the leaves come on, this is a beautiful area.
Cerebral palsy put braces on Monty's legs and keeps him in a wheelchair most days. And he'll admit, when it's this beautiful, that just sucks.
I wish I could run for long distances, bike for long distances.
But on board his four-wheeler, there's no room for a woe-is-me attitude,
No, this is some crap right here I'm picking up.
as he's loaded down with grabbers and pokers,
I normally use this one more.
chosen to make sure his suburb
Styrofoam, and of course, come on.
stays spotless. 9 summers ago, Monty noticed the first one,
That is so irritating.
a wrapper that didn't belong. The cigarette butt frustrated him even more.
I'm gonna risk a little off-roading here.
Soon he was driving his chair anywhere he could,
I've fallen into a spring northwest of Douglas.
and some places he shouldn't, to pick up what others dropped.
He'll call me up. Hey, you got time to come pull me out? And I do.
Police got to know Monty the first time their phone rang.
I was mistaken for a dead 80-year-old lady,
He dozed off along the trail. From behind, they couldn't see his beard.
and I just had bleached my hair blonde that summer, which I'll never do again.
Once Sergeant Lang woke him up, and noticed all he'd picked up.
It's amazing all the stuff that gets in here.
That old lady found a police force full of admirers.
He can spot trash that most people never see.
How's it going today? Good. Good. Sure is. This is my greatest joy, to be outside.
Tell a nature lover to sit down for a good chunk of the rest of his life, and plenty wouldn't move.
Now you'll get to see me use one of my escape tricks.
Monty won't stop.
Chair, let's behave yourself.
Because after nearly a decade of picking up after others, what he's really found is joy.
I think of it as kind of physical gratitude and reciprocity for all the good life I have here, and I can try to give back in a little bit. Uh-oh. No, you're not going to roll away from me. I mean, this puts me in such a good mood.